how to create programs using PHP, how to declare variables in PHP, how to create sessions in PHP, how to create cookies in PHP, how to create a form, how to submit a form, what are the get and post method. Today we are going to do everything practically. Okay, this is the PHP introduction. Let's go through the pages, and page wise I will explain you the practical stuff. So this is the code window and this is the browser window, where we will simply print. Means first of all I will show you the structure of PHP, how PHP is installed in the system. PHP can be installed standalone, or it can be installed using XAMPP. There are basically two things that we can use. One is XAMPP and another one is WAMP. So we have these two applications available on the internet. You can simply download them, and you can, just like other setups, you can simply install XAMPP or WAMP. So once you install XAMPP or WAMP, you can simply define the directory where you want to install this. In my system it is currently in D drive. You can see the folder XAMPP here. So in this XAMPP we are having folders for Apache, we are having folders for MySQL, for PHP, for mail functionality, for Tomcat servers, means for locale kind of stuff, licenses. Here you can see all the licenses of PHP. So this is the basic structure of any WAMP or XAMPP application that you install on your system. When you install WAMP or XAMPP, then you don't have to install MySQL or PHP or Apache separately. You can simply run WAMP or XAMPP server, and you will be able to install PHP. You will be able to write down your programs. So here you can see this is XAMPP server. When we install it, you will get a control panel like this. From here you have, first of all, whenever you install XAMPP, you have to start your Apache server. So this stop button is basically start button. It is toggle button of start and stop. Once you click start, Apache module will get started and it will be converted to stop. So here you can see the ports. It will basically get the two ports, 180 and 443. 80 port is for HTTP and 443 is for secure connection, that is HTTPS. If you people remember, in yesterday's class I have an introduction to HTTP and HTTPS. So these are the two ports used for HTTP and HTTPS respectively. So here again MySQL uses the port 3306. This is the default port that is used by the MySQL server. So here you have, in order to use PHP, you have to start the Apache server, you have to start the MySQL server. So once both servers are started, the module name for them will get a green background. So this is the Apache server and MySQL server using the XAMPP control panel. So once we install this, you can see I'm having this in XAMPP. You are able to see htdocs folder. So this htdocs folder is the main folder in which your project will reside. So this htdocs folder will contain the project itself. Okay, so let's first go through the web this presentation. Here this is the simple theory that yesterday we discussed, that what is PHP, history of PHP, uses of PHP we have discussed, characteristics of PHP we have discussed. So let's leave this theoretical part, let's go to the practical stuff. These are the characteristics that we discussed yesterday. So this is the way how PHP can be written. So today I will show you the practical stuff, that how PHP can be written, how we can write down the PHP. So here is a file that is called welcome.php. So this is basically the PHP tag. I will write PHP within these tags. Okay, let's first go through this screen, means general syntax of writing down PHP code, how the PHP is written inside PHP tags. So I'm going to show you all this in practical in my editor. So here you can see I'm having PHP tags. Inside PHP tag I can simply write down PHP like this. So this is the way to write down the PHP code. So here you can see less than question mark PHP. This is the way the PHP tag starts. Then we can write down any comment, or we can write down any line, or we can write down any function. Then we can simply close it by question mark greater than sign. So the same way I have done less than question mark PHP. I have written echo. Echo is basically a function in PHP that is basically used to print something. We have two functions in PHP. One is echo and one is print. Both will provide us the same result. So but the difference between two functions is that echo can print multiple values, just comma separate values we can print with echo, but print will always print the single value. So this is the only difference between print and echo. So this is basically the tags, or you can say the start of PHP, how we start writing the PHP stuff. This is the basic way of writing the PHP. Here let's move to the next page. Here you will see a PHP example that what I have done. I have written HTML tags, and inside HTML tags I'm having PHP tag and echo. I have written some string and echoed some string, and this is displaying like this when I see the view source. Let me show you how practically this thing will be done. I'm having a file index.php. It is having the basic HTML text. So inside this, what I'm going to do inside the body, because in HTML we write everything inside the body. So here I'm just adding the this is basically a PHP file, HTML file. So we won't be able to do this stuff in it. So we have to copy this into a PHP file. So this welcome.php is basically a PHP file. So what I'm going to do here, I will show you this is HTML stuff. What I will do, I will write, because the PHP file should end with the extension, should be saved with the extension .php. So only if it is saved as PHP, you will be able to write down the PHP in a PHP file. You won't be able to write down PHP with PHP tags in a HTML.html file. So here is the PHP tag. I can write the code. I will simply, what I will do here, I will do echo. This is my first PHP web application. This I have written in a PHP echo function. I'm using the PHP echo function. So when I see the screen here, I will write down, see here you can see my in SAM folder in htdocs. I have created a folder demo_Edureka, and inside demo_Edureka I have created welcome.php. with 2-3 files I have created. I have created welcome.php, I have created landingpage.php, I have created HTML file, that is index.html. So now how can I access this my folder that I have created inside the htdocs? To access that, what I am going to do, I will write http over the browser //localhost. So from here, localhost, when you will write localhost, you will see, so here you can see the basic installation of XAMPP server or XAMPP application over your system. So yesterday, if you remember, we have discussed this stuff. Later on I will let you know all the PHP info and stuff. So okay, let's first go through the profile. Here you can see the basic PHP program. So what I have done, I have written the same kind of PHP program over my screen. So in order to access this welcome.php, I have to write down localhost. After localhost, I will give the name of my folder demo_Edureka. Then I will give the name of the script that I have written. So when I will do welcome.php, here you can see this is my first PHP web application gets printed over the screen because it's inside the PHP tags and it is getting printed. So when you can simply do view source, and when you will see the view source, here you can see that there is no PHP tag inside the source. PHP is converted to HTML. So this is the way we can just viewing the source, we can see that our PHP code is converted to HTML itself. There is no PHP tag in the source. So the same way we are able to see in this particular slide that first we have written the PHP tag inside HTML, and when we render the HTML or we have just seen the view source, you can see it is converted to HTML. So this was the explanation for this page. Okay, here you can see this thing cannot be implemented here in my system, means command line is not installed. So through the web server you are able to see this. What I have done is using the web server because we have installed the XAMPP. Okay, here I'm showing you the slide number 12 where I'm showing you the PHP script execution. Yesterday we discussed that PHP execution can be done from the web server, from the browser, or it can be done through the command line. So I'm showing you here, I am showing you the example how we can execute the PHP using the web server, using the browser. So this is the page where I have shown you how to run your web server and how to execute your PHP script. So let's move to the next slide. So this was simply showing you the web server, the database, and the PHP parser. PHP parser basically works on the background. It basically parses your PHP application and returns the result to the screen. Database, I will let you know later that how we use database with PHP. So web server, here I have shown you the Apache web server. If you are able to see this, this is Apache web server configuration that we have started here. That's why we are able to use Apache server. So here the parser thing, here you can see the PHP version. Yesterday, if you people remember, we have discussed a PHP function that is called phpinfo. Let's go with phpinfo function here. It will show you what basically phpinfo provides us. I have simply written the function phpinfo with braces in my welcome.php. Now if I refresh the screen, you will be able to see this kind of information that you get on your screen. So here you can see the PHP version installed on the system. It is 5.5.15. And from here you can also see the system configuration. It is window NT, and computer and configure command. You can see the server API, you can see the PHP API version, and apart from this you can see the Apache configuration, Apache API version, host name, default host name is localhost that uses the port 80, if you can see from here. And here you can see the Apache environment variables. Yesterday, if you remember, we have discussed some of the environment variables. So this is the environment variable HTTP host that will let you know the default host. Here you can see the user agent. User agent simply lets you know the browser. Here Mozilla 5.0 is the current browser on which I'm running the script. So it is showing me Mozilla 5.0 version. I'm using Mozilla browser here. This script is being run on Mozilla browser who is having the version 5.0. So here are lot of variables, system variables that you can see that are connected to PHP. Here you can see the server port, default server port is 80, server name is localhost. That's why I'm accessing this script by using http localhost, then your project folder, and then your script name. So here you can see the script file name. It is dzemp. It will show you the path to the script file name where your project is running. Here you can see dzemp stdocs and demo_edureka is the folder and welcome.php is the script name. So this is HTTP header information, that how the system is passing, because whenever we run a PHP script, it passes some HTTP headers to the servers. So based on those HTTP headers, the server basically interacts with our request. So here is the HTTP request information that is passing to the server. So here you can see calendar, here you can see the core PHP, some of the directives that can be set through php.ini. If you remember, yesterday we have discussed regarding PHP ini configuration file. So using that file, you can change all the settings that are PHP settings that are shown in this particular page. Here you can see the curl. Curl is basically a library that is used to access the secure information over the internet. For example, you have to get some authenticated data from other site directly. You won't be able to get that authenticated data. So in that case, you will be using curl. That is not the part of this presentation. So I will simply leave you with the introduction of curl. So here you can see the date parameters, latitude, longitude. Here you can see filters, FTP information. Currently there is no FTP support, so this area is left blank. Now there is a support from GD. GD is basically a library that is used to manipulate images, save images, change image size, colors and everything, to make gradient images. So GD is a library for images kind of stuff. Here again you can see support for JSON. You can see encryption function, mcrypt basically to encrypt your data. MySQL support. Here you can see the MySQL connect timeout. What would be the connection timeout, default timeout, what would be the default host, what would be the default password. So here you can see everything. MySQL I is basically the upgraded version of MySQL. It is extensive version of MySQL, or you can say MySQL object-oriented version of MySQL is called MySQL I. So here you are able to see all the PHP variables, that PDO. You can see PDO is a kind of extension that can be used to access multiple databases. The extension basically gives us APIs. Using those APIs, we can access any database, whether it's a MySQL database, whether it's a SQL database, or any other database. So this is PDO extension. So again, here you can see the session support. Sessions basically provide you session cookie lifetime. What would be the, yesterday if you people remember, I have told you that whenever you create a session, a cookie is created to your system, and that cookie basically stores the session ID. So here you can see that cookies information. Cookie cache expire, when the session cache will expire, when the session, what would be the session cookie lifetime, what will be the cookie path. So everything you can see from here, everything, every information regarding the session, where the session will be uploaded, what would be the handler, or how the files, where the files will be saved from the save handler. You can let know that session is being saved in files. So here is the SOAP. SOAP is again a web service library. So a lot of stuff, everything that is related to PHP, that is supported by PHP, zip library and everything, PHP variables. Here are the environment variables. So everything is being provided by this phpinfo. phpinfo simply means information regarding everything regarding the PHP. So here you can see the PHP license. If you remember yesterday, we have discussed that PHP is open source, but it is licensed. Here you can see that on the slide 9, you can see the characteristics of PHP slide 9. here it is mentioned that PHP is licensed. So from here you can see the PHP license information. So this is the PHP info function that we discussed yesterday that provides each and every information. This page, slide number 14, you can see the PHP info function that is giving you all the basic information of installation of PHP and its related add-ons or libraries. Let's move to the next page. So installation stuff, individually installing PHP. This basically gives you information as we have discussed yesterday. So taking everything as practical, installation everything practically is not possible because I'm using the Windows system. So I've shown you the XAMPP server, how to install the XAMPP server. You can do the same thing. Here you can see the PHP ini configuration. I can show you, I'll try to show you the PHP ini file that basically stores all the information regarding the PHP. Okay, let's move to next screen. Here again some PHP ini settings you can see. So this is the syntax overview that we have discussed. PHP is forgiving. It never punishes you if you are not declaring a variable. That I will show you right now, that how PHP is forgiving. So here we are having this PHP ini file. So here you can see this is PHP ini file. You can see various settings here, display errors, what is default value, what is the development value, because basically when we develop a PHP application, two kind of servers, basically we keep two kind of servers where we keep our application. What is development server and another is production server. So on development server we simply display error, keep default value of display error as on, because we want to display each and every error on the screen because we are in the development phase. But once the product goes to production stage, then we usually avoid to display error to the user because it will display technical errors that is not a good thing to be displayed to the user. So in that case we basically use try catch, or you can say error reporting stuff in PHP to display some user defined error so that user never gets frustrated once he or she sees the technical error. So this is the PHP ini file that can be used to magic codes. I've explained to you yesterday that magic codes on and off can be used to escape your codes. Either it's a single code or it's a double code. So here you can see the max input time, output buffering. We can buffer our code, we can buffer our output. How to buffer, that is not the part of this presentation, but simply I will explain you that when you get a result from your server, you can simply buffer it and you can store it for a particular time before flushing it to the screen. So we are having also support buffering stuff in PHP. So here is the PHP ini file. Lot of settings are there and you can change, and you might be able to see the semicolon before some of the settings. Basically this semicolon simply means in PHP ini file, if you see any semicolon before any line, it simply means that particular line is comment right now. It has no effect over the PHP settings. So if you want to make that setting active, you have to delete this semicolon from that file, from that particular line. So this is the basic introduction to PHP ini file. So let's move to the next page. See here I have shown you some PHP settings, short open tags, safe mode. So these all are displayed in PHP ini file. You can simply search, like I search short open tag in my file. Oh, okay, sorry, short open. So here you can see short open tag. Its default value is on, development value is off, and production value is off. Basically it is preferable not to keep short open tag on. So what short open tag means, instead of writing this less than question mark PHP, you can simply write PHP code inside this block, inside this less than question mark and closing with question mark greater than. But this is not a good practice. We should avoid it because not all servers support short tags. Most of the, but each and every server is comfortable with this long tag, that is less than question mark PHP tag. PHP comments. In last class, we have discussed that there are two kinds of comments in PHP. One is single line comments and another one is multi-line comments. So in single line comment, we can write down comments by using hash or by double slash. So I will show you how we write comments in PHP. Here, if I do double slash, I write, this is my first single line comment. So here you can see the color of this particular line has been changed. It is grayed out. This is because this is a comment and nothing will be displayed on the screen now because it's a comment. Comment are just for the information purpose. They are not processed by the PHP interpreter and they are not shown over the screen. This is the single line comment. Now let's take a multi-line comment. This single line comment, either you can use double slash or you can use hash. Both are one and the same thing. Now let's go with multi-line comments. So multi-line comments basically start with slash star and they end with star slash. So whatever you will write between this slash star and star slash, that will be comment. This, what I am writing in these two star slash and slash star and star slash, I'm going to write down a multi-line comment. This is my first multi-line comment, that is that I have added to multiple lines. So here you can see that this comment is spread over multiple lines and all the text within this slash star and star slash is grayed out. So even now if you refresh the screen, you will see nothing gets printed because it's comment. Fine. Okay, let's go to next screen. PHP variables. Again, PHP variables, here it is mentioned that PHP variables start with a dollar sign, that I have already shown you, that $var. This is the way how we write PHP variable, or we can write $first name, first underscore can be used, or we can use a camel case like this, first name. So this is basic naming convention. You can use hyphen, but it is always desirable, or it is always preferred to either use underscore or to use the camel case. This is the best practice in PHP to write down a variable. The type of variable depends upon the value of its assignment value. So in PHP we can simply assign values by equal to. So if I write $var1 equal to 10, and here I do $var2 equal to $var1. So this is simple assignment I have done. So if I print $var2 now, you will be able to see that it is printed as 10 because value of $1 is assigned to var2. The same thing that I have explained you, declaring variables. We can declare variables We don't need to declare variables in advance in PHP. PHP is a foregaming language in terms of that. We can assign values, at you can see in this particular example, $pi equal to 3 plus 0.1489. So when I will print $pi, it will give me the addition of these two. So this is the way we do assignment in PHP. Now, PHP variable types. Yesterday we had discussed the number of variable types in PHP. These are integers, there are doubles. Double simply means float type. Booleans, Boolean simply means 0 or 1. Null value, strings. Strings can be like this. If I write $str, let me give you, let's delete all the stuff. We'll do only PHP here. Here I will write $str1 means string 1 equal to, this is my first string in PHP. So you can see this is basically a string in PHP. Now array can be like that, as other programming languages are having. We can write down array in PHP. So in PHP we simply have to do initially we can initialize an blank array that I can do arr1 is equal to array with braces. So this is the blank array that will be defined in PHP. Now you can add values to this arr1 by simply arr1 and this bracket area equal to, I will do 1. Again, if I have to add another value, I will do arr1, again this bracket equal to 2. So this way we are able to add values to array. Now there is a function in PHP that is called print_r. This function basically prints the PHP array onto the browser. So if I want to print this array1, what I will do, print_r array1. So now if I see the screen, I will be able to see array 0th element, means first element, is also always having the subscript key as 0. So 0th or first element is having 1 value, second element is having 2 value. What we have assigned here. Fine, are you getting? So I think array should be clear to everybody now, that how we define array. Apart from doing this, we can also, while initializing the array, we can define array here as well. I will give 3 and 4 comma separated values I will give. So these two will be added to the array. Here you can see, if we add, is the program the HTML? No, HTML is always in a PHP file. HTML is optional. You don't have to add HTML tags every time. PHP can, if you remember yesterday, we have discussed that PHP can run standalone or it can be embedded into HTML. So in last example, I have shown you how we can embed PHP into HTML. But here, if you write down the start with the PHP tag and end with the PHP tag, simply you have to write down the PHP code in that. So here you can see the array example. Here is one pre-tag, that is HTML tag. Here you can see that using PHP I'm writing pre-tag. That pre-tag is basically HTML tag. So inside PHP you can also write HTML. You simply have to consider HTML as string. Here in quotes I have written pre. So this is basically HTML tag, but now when interpreter interprets it, it will simply interpret it as HTML. I have started the HTML pre-tag, I will close the pre-tag. So what this pre-tag basically does, it increases the clarity. Here you can see the print_r functions gives us the more clear result that how an array get displayed into the browser. So here is an array. So the same thing, same way we are having objects, we are having resources, objects. Also I can show you what are objects. As we initialize array in PHP, we can also initialize object in PHP. So what I'm going to do, obj1 is equal to new default PHP object is std class. This is the default object value in PHP. So when I will do the same print underscore r stuff for this object, you people can see a blank object is created. Below the array you can see std class object, then braces. So a blank object gets created. Now if you have to access any array, particular array element, you can access it like, let's comment this. If you can see, let's remove this. I have created an array with value 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now if I want to print the third element of an array, what I will do print $ar1, and in brackets for third element I will give 2, because the counting of an array starts from 0, not from 1. So to access the third element, I will write array name in brackets 2. So this 2 will give me the third element. So here you can see 3 is printed. So in array we use this brackets to access the array element, but in case of objects never use this bracket, it uses arrow to assign the value. I will use a equal to 1. So here you can see object is having an item a with value 1, but in order to access this a, I will do print, I will use arrow to access. I will not use this bracket as I'm using with arrays. So this arrow will basically access the array. So here you can see the value of objects a element is 1 that I have assigned here. So this is basically the object element and array element in PHP. Now what is resource element? Resource is basically, if there is a MySQL connection functions in PHP. When we have to access MySQL server, we simply create MySQL underscore, simply use MySQL underscore connect function, and in this function we provide our local host, we provide a username, we provide our password, so when we connect this connection is saved in a variable. This variable is basically resource. So this is a resource data type. This is not an object, this is not an array, it's a resource data type. So this is the example of resource data variable type in PHP. Now let's go ahead with variable scope. Basically there are 4 kind of variable scopes. If you people remember, yesterday we discussed. One is local scope, then we have global scope, then we have function parameters. I'm on slide number 41 right now. Then we have static variable scope. So 4 kind of scopes are there. On slide 42, there you can see an example for local scope. Now I'm going to write down a program that will let you know what is local scope. For example, I'm having a variable $a. I have given a value 5 to it. Now what I will do, if you remember, I have explained that a local variable is a variable that is local to a particular function. If a value is declared inside a function, that will be local to that function. It will not be able to be accessed by any other function or even the outside of that function. It becomes local to that function. Here I have defined $a is equal to 5. Now I am creating a function local var, and what I'm going to do here, I am again doing a is equal to 10. So now when I will do print $a inside here, this is dot is basically concatenation operator that is used in PHP to concatenate a value with another value. Here again in quotes I am writing down BR tag, that is HTML tag, but we can embed into PHP simply as a string. So this BR tag is basically the line break. It will move to the next line because after the function I'm also going to print $a. So when we go to the screen, you can see 5 gets printed. Okay, let's call this local var function, because in order to run a function we have to call that function. Simply declaring a function doesn't mean that that function will be called. You have to call that particular function. So first I have called local var, then I am printing $a. So here you can see first 10 is printing, then 5 is printing. This is because $a inside the function and $a outside the function are different entities. $a is having its own memory space, $a inside the function is having its own memory space. The names might be same, but they are having their own reference, because this $a outside the function and $a inside the function both are different. So that's why it is inside the function it is printing $a, and outside the function it is printing inside the function it is printing 10 and outside the function it is printing 5. So both are the different variables. So this is the local variable, local scope. Now we move to global variable. So now what I'm going to do, a is equal to 5, and I will just simply write global $a equal to 10. Then now when I write global inside the function before the variable name, it will get the same reference for the variable that is defined outside the function. So what I'm going to do here, what I will do, if you remember, I have let you know increment and decrement kind of stuff in PHP. So what I have done, I have added $a plus plus. So it will simply increment the value of a. Now here a is 5, global 10 I have defined. I have not given any initial value inside the function. So a is equal to 5 outside the function. If I declare as global, then I'm doing the increment and I'm printing. Now what you will be able to see, it is giving me 6, because both of the values are being printed as 6, because $a outside the function and $a inside the function now interact, or you can say now point to the same memory location, same variable. This is basically the global variable in PHP. Now let's see function parameters. Now here in functions we can pass parameters. Here what I will do, $func_var, I will give a name to this variable. This is the argument for this function. So if I'm passing that func_var argument to function, so while calling up the function I have to provide its value. So here you can see I have called the function, I have passed a value 10. Now this dollar, okay, let's change this value's name as well. So now you can see it will display 10 because I have passed 10 as argument. So this argument is basically the function parameter that I have passed. If you change its value, this print $func will basically give you 15. So this is the function parameter. Now let's move to static variables. See, static simply means, let's give an example. It will make you more clear of static variable. Here I'm going to do static equal to 0. Now I'm doing increment for this static variable as given in this example. Now I'm going to print this static variable, and when I call this local variable, local var function, for example, I have repeated this function 3 times. I'm calling this function 3 times. So what is get printed every time? Now let's add the page break to it so that you are able to see it clearly. I'm calling the function 3 times. Every time what it is doing, it is assigning value 0 to $_static variable, and it is incrementing. I call the function first time, the value of static will become 0, it will be incremented to 1, and 1 will be printed. Again local var function is called, again the static value is assigned to 0, it will again be incremented, again it will be printed. But if I add static keyword variable type, I declare this $static variable as static, then you can see the magic. Here it is printed as 1, 2, 3 rather than 1, 1, 1, because static keyword or a static variable retains its previous value in previous function call. If I have called a function, I have defined a variable as static, so it will be print and incrementing that value. So in the next function call, that incremented value will retain. In the next call, that increment well, so it will go so on that on every function call, the static value will be retained from previous function call. So this is the magic behind static variables. So here are 4 kind of variables in PHP that we have discussed, and I have shown you practically: local, global, function parameters, and static. Now I think everybody here should be comfortable with understanding, or must have understand this variables in PHP, scopes in PHP. So here are the table that let us know all the data types used in PHP: integer, float, string, boolean, array I have explained you, object, resource, and null. Null simply means you can give a null value to any PHP variable. You can do $b equal to, simply you can do null. So when you will print $b, you can see that nothing gets printed. So null simply means nothing, but it's a value defined in PHP. If you want to make anything, I'm on slide number 51. Now I have moved to slide number 52. Here you can see 2 types of PHP data are there, or data types. 2 types of PHP data types are there. One is simple type and another one is compound type. I have explained you strings, arrays, objects, resources, all these are compound type, and integers, float, all these are simple types. Here what is being done, $text is equal to 5 rings, $a is equal to 10, a plus is equal to text. Here $a is printing as 15 because A is assigned 10 value, then we are doing plus. So plus is basically numeric operator, so it will convert this 5 rings, it will pick 5 from it and it will add it to 10, because in PHP there is no strict variable type convention used, so it simply converts it to 5 and it will add it to 10 and 15 will get printed. So in this example, let's take this example as well. I will do $data is equal to 66.8 degrees. Now I am using double of $data, then I am doing int of $data. Now I'm doing string of $data. Now I'm printing $data. Now it will give me, you can see, oh sorry, okay, sorry. Double of $data, int of $data, and string of $data. So this kind of conversion is basically called typecasting in PHP. Means you are changing the very type of a particular thing, a particular variable. Initially this string, this $data is a string. Yes, I have corrected it. Thanks, Chandrasekhar. So data, $data is basically a string because it's inside the quotes. So this double will make it double. It will print it as double. Means because this double, int and string are doing to the data, but they are not saved inside the data. They are, or I would say that they are not assigned to data. So when I will assign, you can see it will give me the double value, or simply means float value of this string. It will pick this float value, it will remove, it will escape this degrees. Now the same way, if I do, instead of this, I will do int. So what it will do, it will pick the integer value, it will truncate the rest of the values from the data. The same way, if I do the string, it's already string, so it will not change anything. It will simply print 68.8 degrees. Okay, let's go with the PHP strings. I have told you that there are two kind of string variations in PHP. One is single quoted string and another one is double quoted string. You can write down string in single quotes or you can write down string in double quotes. So here you can see the difference between a single quote and double quote. Yesterday it was kind of theoretical stuff, you might not understand this, so let's take it practically today. That what is the difference between using PHP string inside single quotes and inside double quotes. What I am going to do, I am declaring a variable a is equal to 10. Now I am writing $a inside this single quote. Now what you can see, it will print simply $a. It will not print the value of $a because anything inside the single quotes never gets interpreted, never gets replaced by its variable. So you can see no substitution will be performed. It simply means did not slice the value of the variable. You will not get the value of the variable, you will simply get $a printed. But if I change the single quote to double quote, now you can see the magic, it will give you 10. So any variable or any string that is having a variable name inside double quotes will be interpreted to its original value. So here you can see $A inside double quotes. If we give, it will print, it will not, instead of printing $A, it will print the value of variable, that is 10. So this is the basic difference between single quotes and double quotes. So now, string operators. If you remember, we discussed that there is a string operator, that is dot operator, and dot simply means to concatenate two strings. Now I will show you how we can concatenate two strings. I have given a string 1, that is, I should write, I think let's have my name, Mohit, and here is my last name. We can write in single quotes or double quotes as we are comfortable. So this is string 1, this is string 2. So here I will do $str1 dot $str2. Now you see we will get, oh sorry, okay, semicolon I missed, okay, Mohit Khurana. Fine, so two strings are concatenated, but as we want a space between first name and last name, so here we can again concatenate a blank string. So here you can see a space will come between first name and last name. So this is the concatenation operator, that is dot, that is used in PHP. Now let's move to slide number 59. Here you can see the concatenation assignment operator. If you remember, yesterday we have discussed concatenation assignment operators like plus assignment operator, add assignment operator, subtract assignment operator, multiplication assignment operators. So for strings we are having concatenation assignment operator. Here I will show you what concatenation assignment operator is. I am using a third string name, that is str3. Here I am doing str1 dot $str2, and I am printing $str3. So here you can see Mohit Khurana without any space gets printed because I haven't given any blank string in between. But this thing can be used as a shortcut. Instead of using this str3 equals to str1 dot str2, I can do or we can say I'm assigning value of str1 dot str2 to str2. So instead of doing like this, what I will do, I will simply do $str2 dot equal to $str1. So line number 5 and line number 6 both mean one and the same thing. So this line number 5, if we open it, it will be written as this thing, as given on line number 6. So this is basically concatenation and assignment operator. Now let's move to string functions. Basically in strings we are having two common functions that we use. One is strlen, that is to calculate the length of a particular string. Here you can see I've given a string. This is my first string in PHP. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to print strlen, then braces. Here I'm going to print string length of string 1. So you can see, just a second. So here you can see that I have used the string length function. Initially the length of the string that I have written is 20, but if I add space and test, so including space, 5 more characters are added to the string, so it will give me 25. So this strlen function is basically to calculate the length of a string. Let's move to decision making or branching. If you remember, yesterday we have explained that there are three kind of conditional statements in PHP, that is if, else if, and switch. Today I'm going to show you the practical of all this. Let's start with if. Here I'm having a variable a whose value is 12. Here I'm having a condition if $a. Here you can see I've used equal to twice because double equal to simply means comparison operator. It is not the assignment operator. Assignment is single. If you can see $a equal to 12, here I have used assignment operator only once because this is the assignment. Using double equal to simply means that it is not the assignment, it is the comparison. So in a if condition, I'm just comparing if $a equal to 10. I'm going to print this value is 10. So when I print this, you will not get anything because a is 12, it is not 10. So it will not go into this particular condition. Now second, we are having else. This is if statement. Second, we can see if then else. What I will do in else, I will do the same thing. I will write print this value is 12. So here when I will print, when I will refresh the page, you can see this value is 12 gets printed, because if condition is not satisfied, the control will directly move to else and else will get printed. So this is the basic if else statement. Now you can see else if. Now let's add else if to this particular thing. What I'm going to do, if $a is equal to 10, it will print $. The value is 10. Now I will add else if. Again, I can assign, if I'm using else if, this simply means a new condition that is not if, means that is you can say opposite of if. If $a equal to 12, else this value is some other value. I will do print $a, print this value is 12. So here again this value is 12 gets printed, or we can change the string this value is the final value or desired value. Because $a is 12 here, and it will simply, first of all, the control will come to if. It will see that if condition is not satisfied, that then it will come to else if condition. Here it will see that if else a is 12, so this else if condition gets satisfied, so it will print this value is desired value stuff. Fine. And if is not satisfied, else if is not satisfied, then it will jump to else condition. If I give it 11 rather than 12, then you can simply that this value is some other value. It simply means this value is not 10, this is not 11, it is some other value. It gets printed on the screen. Let's move to switch statement. In PHP, we are having a kind of special conditional statements that we are having also in C or Java, that is switch statement. In switch, we simply give a particular variable name, variable value. For example, here I'm going to $b. I have defined $b equal to 10. So inside the switch, I'm going to write down cases, and each case will be having a particular value. Here, consider I have given value 1, so I will write the value of the variable is 1. So here I will give you break. I will explain break later. Now I will give case like 5. Here I will copy the stuff and I will give it 5. Now here I will give 10, and there is a default case in PHP in this case statement that will simply give you the value is some other value. Fine. So here you can see break after each case. What this break does, this break basically breaks the control here only. Otherwise, once this print gets executed, if I'm not giving any break here, it will simply jump to the next case, and if that case is also satisfied, it will change the value to 10. Which value you want to change that? Okay, fine. Yeah. So now you can see what gets printed. The value of the variable is 10. So it simply comes to this condition, because $b is compared with the value of these cases, and which case is equivalent to this $b, that particular case value gets printed. So here you can see the value of variable is 10 gets printed. Okay, let's move to loops and loop types. Here I've showed you that there are two kinds of loops: bounded loops and unbounded loops. 4 kinds of loop statements are there: while loop, do while loop, for loop, and for each loop. So I'm going to take while loop first. I will let you know what while loop is. So here consider I'm having a variable C that is having value 1. So I have told you that while will run until the condition is true. So I will do here while $a is less than equal to 10. So here I will print $a with break, simply to move to the next line. Sorry, we have to take C, not A. Here I will do $C increment. So every time it will check the value of $C. See, in first case the value of $C is 1, so it will print 1. Then it gets incremented, it becomes 2. Now $C becomes 2, it prints 2. So it goes until the value of $C is 10. So this is a simple example of while loop. I think everybody is clear here. Next, do while loop. This will work in the same way I've told you, but it will run for at least one time. For example, $C is equal to 1. If I change the condition here, $C is less than equal to 1, so you can see is less than 1. I will do. Nothing gets printed. because $C is equal to 1, it is not less than 1. But if we use do while loop here, so here you can see this loop, do while loop, will execute at least once, because once the control will go to do, it will print something, then it will check the condition. But in while loop, first it checks the condition, then it goes inside the condition. So this is the basic difference between while and do while loop. I think it is clear to everybody. Yes? Yes, Somajit, is it clear? Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Next, for statement. For is basically a looping that is used in PHP. For example, I have given a count of a variable count 10. So now I have to print values from 1 to 10. I'm going to use for $A equal to 0. I will start from 0. $A is less than $count, and I will do $A plus plus. So first is basically the initial assignment, second is just the condition check, and third is the increment. So I will do print $A. I'm looping through $A, and that value should be less than $count. So let's see what it prints. It will print, let's have break here. Here you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gets printed, because value should be less than 10, less than count. So till 9 it gets printed. If I give it less than equal to $count, you can see 10 also gets printed. So this is the condition that gets satisfied. It increments the value of $A until the condition gets satisfied and the value of $A or value of variable gets printed. So this is the for loop. Now you can see, for example, I have shown you here, this is the same example that I explained you yesterday, same for statement. So now for each statement, now there are two kind of arrays in PHP. One kind of array I have already shown you, $ar is equal to array. Here it can be first, second, or third, this kind of values. Another kind of array in PHP is called associative array. This is numeric array because the keys of this array will be numeric. I can show you how the keys are numeric. You can see print, you can use print underscore r function. I have already explained you to see the array on the browser. So here you can see the keys are 0, 1, and 2, numeric keys. But there is another type of array in PHP that is called associative array. So in that case, the keys may or may not be numeric. We define this kind of array as B, means key and L value is basically differentiated by this arrow. So now if I print this array 2, you can see the keys are A and B rather than 0, 1, and 2. Basically in PHP, if we have to deal with this numeric array, we use for loop, but if we have to deal with associative array, we basically use for each loop. For example, I want to print each and every value of this array 2 using for each loop. I will use for each dollar $2 as dollar value. When I will do print dollar value, it will give me value of array 2 elements. Then see, 4th and 5th gets printed. Now, apart from this value, I also want to display the key in the key. So what I will do, dollar key arrow dollar value. So here you will get dollar key dollar value. A 4th, B 5th. A means key of 4th, B means key of 5th. So by using the for each, you can print both key and value, but that you cannot do for associative array using for loop. So normally in PHP, we use for each for associative arrays and for numeric arrays. I think this is fine to everybody. Clear? Loops are clear to everybody? Okay, fine. Okay, now break, I have already explained you that to break the control of a particular PHP script over a particular line, we use break. I have shown you break using the case structure. Now we have continue. Continue simply means, let's have this example for continue. For example, I'm having a loop $a is equal to 0, $a is less than 10, $a plus plus. If $a is equal to 5, what I will do, let's leave it first. What I'm going to do, I'm going to print $a. Let's forget this condition right now. Now I will show you the effect of continue. Here you can see the value gets printed. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because I have given values to be printed from 0 to less than 9, less than 10, simply means 0 to 9. Now I don't want 5 to be printed. This simply means I want to skip 5. So I will test a condition here. If $a is equal to 5, then continue. Then you can see it will skip 5, because I have written a condition that if a comes to 5, just go from here or just move to the next element of the array of the loop. Don't print $a. So $5 value doesn't get printed. So this is the use of continue. You can skip that particular loop and move to the next element. This is the use of continue. I think everybody is clear with continue. So here are different kind of operators that we discussed: arithmetic, comparison, logical, assignment, conditional, and string operators. So here are different kind of operators we discussed: plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, increment, decrement. I think you might be, now you are comfortable and you are aware of all these kind of operators. I have used most of them in my examples. Here are comparison operator. I have shown you the usage of comparison operator inside the if condition. If you are checking equal to, you should use double equal to. If you are checking not equal to, you can use not exclamation equal to. Same way, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. I think everybody is clear about these comparison operators now. Now we are having logical operators. Now Somajit, this logical operator will solve your question. We are having AND operator, OR operator, and NOT operator. These are the logical operators that we use in PHP. So here the condition is given that I don't want to print 5. Consider I also don't want to print 7. So what I will do, if a is equal to 5, or I will use the or logical operator, a is equal to 7. Continue. So it will not print 5 and 7. I think so, Majid. Now it's clear that how to use the logical operator and how to skip the values. How to use the continue for multiple values. Okay, Samjit, thank you. Let's move further. Here again, the same thing I've shown you, that dot assignment operator, same way we can have dot plus operator, dot subtract operator, dot multiplication operator. Let me show you the example, one of the example, then you will understand rest. I'm having a variable $a is equal to 10, having a variable $b is equal to 20. So I will, first of all, I will show you print $a or $a equal to $a plus $b. I will print $a. So here you can see 30 gets printed because value of a and b gets added. Now instead of writing this, I will simply write $a plus equal to $b. So you can say again the same 30 value will be printed, because this is nothing, this assignment is nothing, but it is a shortcut of this line number 6. So the same way you can go ahead with plus operator, subtraction operator. Instead of, can we use, no, you can use plus $x, sorry, x, this way, not $++x, because PHP variable starts with x, so it will be plus $x. Basically the difference is that this is post increment, this is pre-increment. This is the only difference. That I will explain you in further classes, that what is the difference between post increment and pre-increment, where it affects the system. Now I think you are aware of all the operators in the previous slide, slide number 83. Let's move to slide number 84. Here you can see this conditional or ternary operator. What ternary operator is? A ternary operator is one that is having 3 values, 3 operands. I will show you example of ternary operator. What I am going to do, a is equal to 14, and I will do if, not if, here I will do, put a condition, $a equal to 15, question mark, print, write, oh sorry, wrong, colon, right. So here I'm checking the condition, if a is equal to 15, after question mark will be print, after question mark it will check, it is simply, this ternary operator is simply like if condition, that if a is equal to 15, then print wrong, otherwise print right. So here you can see it will print right. It is same as if else condition. This simply means if condition, wrong simply, the wrong where after question mark it simply means if condition, and after colon it simply means else condition. Now what I will do, I will check it as 14. So you can see a is 14, I will simply check if a is 14, print right, otherwise print wrong. So it will print right. Yes, a equal to 14, I'm checking the condition here, I'm checking the assignment, Chandrasekhar. That's why I'm using equal to. So here you can see the example in the slide as well. If number equal to 18, then it is even, otherwise it is odd. So this is the use of ternary operator. So now you have seen this concatenation and concatenation assign operators already. Now precedence of operators, I have already explained you that a particular operator is having its own priority. For example, multiplication and division and modulus are on the top priority, then plus and minus gets the priority. If you can see from the next slide, first priority is to these, second to plus minus, third to less than, greater than, equal to, fourth is to equal to, not equal to, logical operators. This is the priority table. So I will show you the example. Same example I'm going to use. I will write print 2 plus 3 multiplied by 8 or multiplied by 7. So logically it should be 2 plus 3 equal to 5 into 7, that is 35, but it will give you 23 because it will first take multiplication, 3 into 7, 21 plus 2, then it will do 2. So this is the precedence stuff that is applicable in PHP. Now let's move to the next slide. Operator categories I have already explained. Unary operators like increment operators, binary operators like assignment operator, ternary operator I have already explained, assignment operators I have already explained. So I think this particular slide is clear to everybody, this particular class is clear to everybody.